Greetings, everybody. This is Robert Marshall at Historical Life with my cohort, Brother Alex Powers from Gardner, Kansas.
Good evening, good evening.
It's starting to warm up here, Alex. Is it starting to warm up there?
Yeah, it was a lot better today. I think we hit, I don't know, just guessing probably mid 50s. So, still not quite where we want it to be, but it was a nice day. Sun was out, birds were chirping, can't complain.
Mid 50s is crazy cold to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're spoiled though, so you got to remember, just 2 days ago we had ice on everything, and that was coming out of the high 70s. So,
I in fact do not have to remember that, and I intentionally choose to forget the cold anytime it ever occurs.
I don't blame you at all, man. Not at all. We try to forget it
Good
too.
day?
Yeah, it was a good day. I got some more digitizing done.
I saw that.
Yeah, working on building the back end of the archive for Lodge Research, and yeah, getting all kinds of stuff done. So,
for anybody out there who's not aware, Alex and I, and a few others, Darren Kellerman and a couple of other guys at the Kansas Lodge of Research, primarily with Alex's leadership, we have set up a program where we will digitize lodge archives around Kansas. And we're trying to assemble all of that information in one place, but also preserve it for the individual lodges. So that's what he's talking about. He's been putting time in on that today.
Yeah, it's a blast, man. I went through, at least for my lodge, I got the chance to go through it all a couple years back when we were working on that book. But even just since that time, get the chance to go back through there and kind of catch up on some of that stuff. That's what I nerd out on. That's kind of my favorite pastime.
I hear you, man. Same here.
Pull up who we've got in this evening. Looks like we got Brother Fletcher back in.
Timothy, who?
Brother Marvin Fletcher. Looks like he's driving to Indiana this evening.
Very cool.
Got my wife on here, Brother Eddie, Brother Carlos. Thank you all for joining in. Well, Brother Robert, what you got to share with us this evening? A little bit of history.
What are you toasting with?
So I finally pulled out the new wine. I've got it half corked here, but this Gentleman's Collection #2. We're going to give that a whirl this evening. It's a red blend.
Nice.
And I am using, well, I think I've already shared this one, but Grand Lodge Toasting Cannon from the 300th anniversary Grand Lodge England. So it's got both those.
Very nice.
How about yourself, my brother?
I've seen that Gentleman's Collection before at HEB. I haven't tried it yet, but they have cool labeling.
Yeah, I was sharing with you before. It's kind of sad, but that's a good 98% of my picking selection is how cool the label is.
That's true about most people. Anyone else who says otherwise is a liar.
I'd agree with that.
So I'm
we'll see if it's any good or not.
Strawberry lager again from Avita Brewing in Houston, and I'm using the Baylor drinking glass I have from the year I finished undergrad.
Very nice.
I bet all those Baptist administrators would eat their hearts out if they saw me pouring beer into this logo.
Oh, I'm very sure. Puppy, get back. What's new in your neck of the woods, man? How's everything going down there?
New in my neck of the woods. I have a setup now here on my property where I am working with EAs and fellowcrafts to teach them their work. They come in on one end of the property and I come from the other, and we meet at a bridge, and they're staying on their side. I'm staying on my side, good social distancing. They got chairs. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to have a cooler set up on their side for them that's been sanitized and loaded with beer.
Nice.
Yeah. Learning the catechism, middle of the woods.
Middle of the woods. That's awesome, man. Getting a lot of work done in that means with the quarantine going on.
A lot of work done what?
A lot of memory work done during this time.
You know, yes and no. It's been hit and miss. We have had 10 new members to the lodge since January 1st, and so a lot of different moving parts and guys to keep up with. But they're doing pretty well. I think we're starting to get into a groove now with the new normal, so to speak, and we'll really be able to start cooking.
Right. Yeah, that new normal's it's a weird one, man. It definitely takes some getting used to. I see you're getting called out here by Brother Raymond. Says no offense, but you need to work on those beer pouring skills.
Brother who?
Brother Aaron Raymond.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep, I have zero beer pouring skills. I can go ahead and tell you that.
Hey, but we're toasting every night, so by the end of this, gonna be an expert.
Maybe. I'm planning on switching to wine tomorrow.
There you go. We got Brother Chris Neely joined in with us again. Good to see you, brother. Looks like said he's going upstairs to get some scotch for him to toast with.
Nice.
So that's a good question. Let us know in the comments what everybody's toasting with this evening.
Yeah. The other night, whenever I failed at giving a toast without you, I issued a challenge for them to post their toasts, and exactly 0 of them did it. So I'm disappointed in all of you out there.
Try to scroll through here. So got a little bit of a different setting this evening. So my usual lair that we have in the background, the studio down there, is actually our guest bedroom. And the bed that we had in there, my youngest decided she wanted to move that to her room. So the Mason room, as it's termed, is turned upside down at the moment. So having to do this evening's from the laptop. So that's why you got a little bit of a different.
The children have stormed the Bastille.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, in my defense, it frees up more space for history and stuff to be stored in there. So you know, kind of.
There you go. Nothing wrong
Wife's
with
just not a fan because you know there went the guest bed.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we got Brother Mark in here from Nebraska, Brother Pelton, Brother Staley. Awesome. Got all kinds of guys joining in with us this evening.
Excellent.
And we got an angry face. Who the heck put an angry face?
Probably a past master.
Probably a grumpy past master. Hey, hold on a few minutes, guys. We're going to cheer and get those grumpy faces turned upside down, right? What you sharing with us this evening, my brother?
Well, I kind of have 2 things. Let's see how well I can show you this. This is my traveling writing desk. I take this to every lodge I go to. I have been to lodges all over the country and out of the country, but this has only been a somewhat recent addition to my journeys. I'll try to show you it. It opens like this, and then like that. And let's see if this will work. Oop. I don't think it will. I can do it like this. There you go. You can kind of see it's got a place for pens and ink, and I've got a few coins and the Texas Grandmaster's lapel pin in there. A few different items. It's got a little secret drawer in the bottom. What I really, and I should say, this is a late 1700s desk, a traveling desk. They were very common, especially with military officers and other kinds of people in the late 1700s.
That is fantastic. So the both of us can kind of share in that point of view that we kind of feel like we were born in the wrong time period. But to prove that on Brother Marshall's point, as many brothers walk around with maybe a briefcase or a binder today, Brother Robert Marshall's walking around with a traveling desk. So
that's right.
One up all of it.
It comes in very handy, and it's less distracting to bust this out and take notes on it during lodge meetings. Let's see, inside it, I have a pin that was made for me by Yeti Berryman. You've got copper lid, acacia base, a little chunk of silver on there with a square and compass.
That is fantastic.
And the more important piece in here, what time is it?
5 till.
All right. So, little known to most Texas Masons, unfortunately, because he's been forgotten, is that Benjamin Franklin's grandson came to Texas in the 1830s and became an early member of the Grand Lodge of Texas. His name was Richard Bach Jr. He had been a Grand Treasurer, Grand Junior Warden, and Grand Senior Warden of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania prior to that. He was a Navy captain during the War of 1812 when he led the Franklin artillery, the Flying Franklin Artillery, named after his grandfather. And he served in a number of different roles until the late 1820s when I believe the anti-Masonic movement essentially sacrificed him on the altar of American politics, forcing him to find a new place to carve out a niche in the world. That new place happened to be Texas. He arrived in time to serve in the Texas Revolution, where he guarded Santa Anna after that self-defined Napoleon of the West's capture following the Battle of San Jacinto. And I've always thought that was pretty interesting. Benjamin Franklin's grandson guarded our prisoner tyrant after Texas won its independence. Both of them Masons, by the way. Afterwards, he became very, very involved in Texas Masonry. He actually served as a pro tem Grand Master at a meeting for which Anson Jones, the Grand Master at that time, was not present. And he served as a captain in the Texas Navy, which helped the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico gain its independence just a couple of years after Texas did, although that was short-lived and Mexico eventually got the Yucatan back. This year's Grand Lodge of Texas Grand Masters cruise was actually scheduled to go right past a couple of islands that Richard Bach Jr. And some of the Mexican Masonic leaders of that revolution used to trade off encrypted messages. They would park their ship on the island and leave a secret message, and it was pretty remarkable little chapter in Texas history that was taking place. And our cruise was going to go right past it, but it's looking like the cruise is probably going to be postponed or canceled. He stayed involved in Texas politics and Texas Masonry for several years after that. He provided the Grand Lodge of Texas with its first official version of a Masonic funeral, which, as all Masons know, is a very big deal. Most likely based on what he had been familiar with in Pennsylvania. And he was nominated and nearly won an election to be Grand Secretary. But afterwards, he really fell out of favor. I suspect it was a continued result of the negative attention he unfairly had cast on him during the anti-Masonic movement. And he died in the late 1840s. And here is a banknote. Let's see if I can work with why not have that reflection on it. That was signed by Richard Bach Jr. right down there on July 4th, 1815, while he was serving as the Grand Treasurer of the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. So pretty special item, signature of Benjamin Franklin's grandson. It's the newest addition to the collection I have on loan to Waco Masonic Lodge.
Wow.
And a very important figure in early Texas Masonry.
Indeed, man, what a share. That's awesome stuff. And with the, well, thanks to the reflection there, probably the only currency that my face will ever be on.
Nice.
Very, very cool stuff, man. Well, we are upon 9 o'clock this evening. My brother, will you grace us with our toast?
I certainly will.
I hope everyone out there will toast with us.
Yes, please do. Raise your glasses, folks, to the absent brethren, wives, girlfriends, children, and all of the brethren who have passed before us to the Celestial Lodge. To the absent brethren.
The absent brethren. And it's official. Gentleman's Collection's pretty good. I like it. It's very dark.
Is
too.
it?
Yeah,
You like
not bad. Not bad. It's not just the label that's good, huh? Well, fantastic. Again, we appreciate all of you joining in with us. For those that may be joining in this evening for the first time, we've been doing these each night. We'll continue doing these for the foreseeable future during this quarantine. That's the goal every night, 8:45 to 9. Historical Light, it's all about the Masonic-based history. So we'll come on here, share a little bit of history, and then we will end it with the 9 o'clock traditional Masonic toast. So until then, we'll see you all tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Keep saving history, and we'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.